a Jericho Mash-up. Our story starts with the city of palm trees, the world's oldest continuously occupied city. The Natufian people were living there, but the colds and droughts, they just weren't fair. They had to move from place to place during the Younder Dryas period. But then it all came to an end, making Jericho their permanent home. This happened around 10,000 BC, near the beginning of the Holocene. During the spring, it became a place for hunting and gathering. Jericho, whoa, that's where I wanna go, to see Jericho, the west bank of the Jordan River, on the oasis of Wadi Qelt. Joshua led the people there, from Egypt in the Bible, built it around the as-Sultan spring. What a beautiful thing. We are now at the end of our story. Jericho is important, and now you see. From architectural changes to advancement in technology, yeah, through different eras and cultures, life preserves continuously. I learned this in anthropology. Britton Shepherdson taught me. Yeah, yeah.
Hey guys, my name's Austin Strobel, and if I did the editing right for this video, you should have just watched my new single coming out called Jericho. Yeah, expecting that bad boy to go platinum. But anyways, so if you ever get a moment, you can head over to iTunes, support me a little. But yeah, right now, what I'm doing is going over the lyrics in my song Jericho. And if you want to follow along, the lyrics are in the description down below. So here we go with the first two lines. Our story starts with the city of palm trees, the world's oldest continuously occupied city. Now the city of palm trees, all that is just another name for Jericho. Sometimes people will refer to Jericho as the city of palm trees, and that's all that means. It is the world's oldest continuously occupied city, and that means it has never been abandoned. Once people moved in there, it has always had inhabitants living there, until now, which is the modern era. The next two lines are, the Natufian people were living there, but the colds and droughts just weren't fair. The Natufian people were the majority of the people living there during the first years of Jericho. They were a hunter-gatherer group of people. So that is how they lived. And what I was saying about the colds and the droughts were there's lots of just crazy weather always happening. So that's why hunting gathering was a necessity, because one couldn't sit down and have agriculture because just colds and droughts would come. The weather is crazy. Couldn't do that. But the next lines are explaining their lifestyle. They had to move from place to place during the Younder Dryas period. So that is why they're moving from place to place, because of the colds and droughts. They couldn't stay in one spot. And this was all happening during the Younder Dryas period. Alright. But then it all came to an end, making Jericho their permanent home. Around 9600 BC is when the Younder Dryas period came to an end, and that's when Jericho became a place where one could live for the whole year and still survive. And that is exactly what the Natufian people did. Alright, the next stanza of the song begins with, "This happened around 10,000 BC, near the beginning of the Holocene." And so that is when first evidence was found of life in Jericho, was 10,000 BC. That's when it was dated back. And they found this, or they dated this, because they found some crescent-shaped microlith tools that were left there, and that is how they dated it back. And this was near the beginning of the Holocene. The Holocene just means the Holocene epoch. That is when it was happening. All right, the next lines. During the spring, it became a place for hunting and gathering. This is going back to the Younder Dryas period, and the season in which that Jericho was inhabitable was the spring, and that is when all the Natufian people would come, and that is when they would do their hunting and gathering, was during the spring. Alright, and the last line of that stanza is Jericho. Pretty nice line. And that's it for that stanza. Alright, the third stanza. It begins with, "Israel, that's where I want to go to see Jericho." We are now in the modern era, and in the modern era, Jericho is located in Israel. And that is about as deep as those lines get. After that, it says, "The west bank of the Jordan River on the oasis of the Wadi Qelt." This is just more in-depth of where Jericho is located, on the west bank of the Jordan River. And it was built actually upon the oasis of Wadi Qelt. And this all happened around 1967 is when it became under the Israeli control. That is when it all happened. Alright, the next line is, "Joshua led the people there from Egypt in the Bible." He didn't literally lead them from Egypt. That was Moses. Moses is who led the Israelites out of Egypt. But the big story with Jericho in the Bible is after the Israelites had been wandering the desert for years and years, Joshua led them into the city of Jericho. Alright, after that it says, "Built it around the as-Sultan spring." What a beautiful thing. And Jericho was built around the as-Sultan spring. You can't have a civilization without water, and this was their source of water. And also, there's some ocean and rivers nearby, but the spring was a great freshwater source for them. The settlement began to grow in the pre-pottery Neolithic age. This age is characterized by small circular dwellings, reliance on hunting wild game, burials of the dead in the floors of their buildings, cultivation of wild or domestic cereals, and lastly, no use of pottery, hence the pre-pottery Neolithic age. And that about wraps up that stanza. The fourth and final stanza starts with, "We are now at the end of our story. Jericho is important, and now you see." And what this is saying is, hey, look at the rest of the song. Look at this information. This is a cool place. And now you know about it. Alright, after that it says, "From architectural changes to advancement in technology, through different eras and cultures, life preserves continuously." Alright, what that is talking about. What is that talking about? I'll tell you. That's just saying, why is it important? It shows us that life can preserve. From all the way from the Natufian hunter-gatherers to the Bronze and Iron Age, all the way to the modern era, life has preserved, and that is possible. The last two lines in this stanza are, I learned this in anthropology. Britton Shepardson taught me. And that's just saying I learned all this information in anthropology, and if it wasn't for Britton Shepardson, the teacher of anthropology, I would not have found out about this great city, Jericho. Well, hope you enjoyed everything, and you all have a great day. Thanks.